Poor Jonah Hill. Leave him alone, everybody. Leave that dude alone.
So Jonah Hill. So the thing with Jonah Hill is,
I want to defend him.
I know. See, I think too. Like to me, these texts. If you people who don't know, Jonah Hill's in some hot water right now because an ex-girlfriend of his came out and
a year later.
So that's what I'm talking about with this past coming back to bite you, and this is like a tough way to live. Everybody is now constantly thinking about.
In one respect, it's good. It's like the Kantian principle: live as though essentially a camera's running on you at all times.
Right.
Like live that way, and that's not a bad idea.
Right.
So this kind of brings that home a little bit, but this was still ridiculous. It's sort of disgusting. Taking a private text conversation and showing it to the world.
Yeah, and because for me, it was like if Jonah Hill was acting this way with saying like, you need to do this, and then kind of also, if he was just saying that, okay, I still don't think showing the text is the right move, but I get like, this is a lot, it's very like insecure or whatever, but he clearly says in the messages she showed, this is just what I demand in a relationship.
Not even demand is I can't tolerate
I can't tolerate it, and these are my boundaries.
To be fair, I mean, his part is, if you can't stand your girlfriend in a bikini around dudes, don't get involved with a bikini model who's a surfer.
Right.
Just don't do that.
Yeah.
It reminds you of guys that get involved with strippers. I can handle it, no problem. I can handle it, no problem. Fast forward 3 weeks, you gotta quit that job. Guys are that way. He at least had the balls not to make her quit her job and just go, hey, I'm having trouble with this.
Right.
If you read his words, they're very reasonable.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like, hey, there's a lot of therapy speak in it, which I found kind of like, come on.
Yeah, but that guy Stutz, the therapist,
but
Netflix
he's been getting therapy lately. He's talked about how he's had trouble and been in therapy, and so he's sort of using that to help himself. But I think, look, it was a healthy exchange. The bad thing was he should understand that's who he was involved with. That's all. It's not
that's what I'm saying.
fault.
As a doctor, you look at that and say that's actually a healthy exchange on his part, even if he is being a bit insecure about things.
He's terribly insecure. He never should have been with this person. He should work on all that for sure. But he didn't.
But she's not a victim of abuse.
Imagine if he were aggressive and jealous and violent and all the stuff that guys can do.
Right.
Oh, this wasn't that.
Yeah. Do you think this has any effect on him career-wise at all? Or do you think we're in a society moving past that and kind of having these conversations
I
now?
hope so. I mean, I was, a friend of mine had some stupid shit happen like this, and he almost lost some jobs, really serious jobs in entertainment.
Bill Cosby?
He did lose some jobs, as a matter of fact. But it blew over. I told him it would, but it took a while.
Right.
And in the meantime, they're kind of radioactive. Nobody wants to. It's a terrible business, right? If somebody's the least bit radioactive, nobody wants to do anything. And they need to stop. He needs to go write another comedy and
just come right out.
Yeah.
But what do you think about like now that everybody's using therapy talk? Like right now, it's a trend on TikTok that everybody's using it a little bit incorrectly.
It's disturbing to me. It's disturbing because you know why? Because people have lost track what treatment is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be a cognitive process. It's not a language-based experience. There is language involved. There's talking involved. But at its core, it's one person sitting, trying to get connected to deep feelings while another person listens with their whole body and tries to attune to it.
Right.
Whatever words are exchanged between the two of them are incidental. If you're going to see a therapist that's talking all the time, I mean, there is cognitive behavioral therapies, and they do work for certain things, but it's taking over. It's really not the core experience of therapy. I was in therapy for 10 years, and it's very meaningful I was not well connected to my primary feelings, and to have somebody attuned to you deeply and just listen quietly, it's a big experience.
Yeah, and I think people also, when they do things like this, like lash out, not lash out, but like kind of want to take somebody down, they don't understand they're taking themselves down, because then the spotlight gets turned back on you, then you open yourself up.
These days,
for ridicule, and you have to really think about like unless you are the victim of like something heinous like physical violence or whatever, and you want to, you need to get help for that, then of course do it. But stuff like this, it just feels all so egotistical
Gross,
and
yeah.
narcissistic
Yes.
and
all roads-
ego-driven
right now,
on everybody's
all
part.
roads lead to narcissism right
Where
now.
I'm like, man.
that is a good point. That is not technically a boundary. That is boundaries are emotional, differences where you can tell what emotions I'm having or belong to me and not somebody else. That's a boundary. And you set those boundaries around your emotions, not around your expectations.
Right,
That's
right.
just an expectation, or I just can't tolerate it.